Hey everyone, Gordon here from Scoggin-Dickey, and we are back in the dyno cell with another Hemi. Many of you tuned in for our Hellcat testing that we did last year, where we tested several different cam profiles and several different supercharger combinations. And we got many comments asking why we did not test the 3.8 Whipple. Well, the simple answer is it's really too much supercharger for a stock-based engine. That combination was just pistons and rods dropped into a stock Hellcat short block. That's where this combination comes in. What this is a dart block based 426. Inside, what we have is one of our 426 rotating assemblies that we keep here in stock. It features a Callie's Magnum crankshaft, 4050 stroke, Callie's Ultra Billet 6125 rods, and a set of our custom Wiseco pistons. And of course, what we have here is the Whipple Supercharger 3.8, which is sporting a massive 130 millimeter throttle body, which allows all the airflow. So stay tuned, let's see what this thing's made of today. All right, so we made our first shakedown pulls. We kind of knew this thing was on a heavy-handed trajectory because at 5,500 RPM, it was already well over 1,000 horsepower. So we pulled it a couple more times. What we ended up with was 1,280 horsepower and 1,100 foot-pounds of torque at 15 PSI with our, really the biggest pulley that we have here is a 4125 upper. Made our shakedown passes. What we're going to do now is we're going to cut the oil filter open, drain the oil, and then we will change the pulley as long as everything looks okay, and it's time to party. Alright, so we've made some pulls on some different pulley combinations. What we have on it right now, what we just ended up running, was the 3-inch upper with the ATI 8.9-inch lower. Ended up making 1,400 horsepower and 1,300 foot-pounds, or 1,350 foot-pounds of torque. But we ended up having a little trouble holding on to the belt after about 6,500 RPM, so we had a few misfires out of one side of it. So what we're going to do now is we are going to pulley it back down to where it was stable, which was the 375 upper. And then we're going to verify that we're still stable, and we're going to make some header changes. We're going to run a 2-inch set of headers. We have kind of a suspicion that these headers might be a little bit long, so we're going to find that out today. So stay tuned for the rest. So after all the dyno testing, We tried a few different pulley combinations with this setup, and we tested some headers. At one point in the testing, we did make just a touch over 1,400 horsepower and 1,350 foot-pounds of torque, but we were experiencing a little belt slip at the top of the pull. So what we did was we backed it down to a slightly more conservative mid-1,300 horsepower range where we weren't experiencing any belt slip. Now, before anyone jumps in the comments and says that we could have made more horsepower by spinning this thing at a higher RPM, you're probably right. With a different camshaft combination and a higher RPM valve train setup on this, we could have sent it up in the 85 to 9,000 RPM range, but this engine is going into a street-driven car. So at the end of the day, it needed to idle clean and be able to drive like a real street car. Because of that, we limited the RPM to about 7,000 to 7,500. With the amount of torque that this thing makes coupled with the 8-speed, it's really not that big of an issue because the gearing will keep the engine right in the meat of the power band that this engine is making. So a huge high horsepower number with high RPM, valve train, and everything else is not really necessary, especially on a street-driven car. The header test section of this video was mainly just for us. That was a side experiment to prove what we had already thought. We thought that our dyno headers were a little bit too long, but that's a problem that we'll address in another video at a later date. The next step now is to get this engine where it belongs back in the car, because in a few weeks we're going to take it to the drag strip. With the power level that this is making and the weight of the car, a 1,300 to 1,400 horsepower engine combination is capable of propelling the car at faster than what the NHRA certified 9.0 150 mile an hour range is. So it's going to be interesting to find out what it really runs and how far I might have to turn it back down to keep the car in NHRA legal status. I'm curious to know what you guys think. Would you have chased a higher peak dyno number, or would you have kept it a more stable RPM and horsepower for a street-driven car like this? If you enjoyed the kind of testing that we do, like, share, subscribe to our channel, and comment below what you think that we could have done better, or what you wish that we would test in the future. These comments and these likes and these shares are how we justify doing more videos just like this. So if you like our content, let us know.